The Israeli military has reportedly fired artillery shells into the southern Gaza Strip. It follows Israeli airstrikes on Hamas positions in Gaza on Thursday. One Palestinian woman was killed in Khan Yunis in the territory's south. Her funeral was held on Thursday night. Israel says it launched the attacks after its forces came under fire from Gaza. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council is due to hold a meeting on the protection of Palestinian civilians. The Palestinian ambassador to the UN says he'd like an international force to protect Palestinians from Israeli troops. For more on this story, Ahmed Alburai joins us now in the studio live. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, how significant is this meeting, do you think? What are we expecting to see out of this particular meeting?
To be honest, we're not expecting too much because there is a, let's speak not diplomatically this time, the people are questioning the credibility that they do not have. They lost the faith in the credibility of the United Nations. There have been many resolutions to try to deter the excessive use of violence from the Israeli side, but unfortunately, all of them were in vain and nothing on the ground has happened. We have a bunch of resolutions from the United Nations and none of them were implemented on the ground. That's why the people are really in high frustration, especially in the occupied territories of the West Bank and in the Gaza Strip.
Well, I mean, following on from those comments, in January, Ban Ki-moon said security measures alone will not stop the violence. They cannot address the profound sense of alienation and despair driving some Palestinians, especially young people. If security measures aren't going to do anything here, what needs to be done?
That is the problem. The international community must find a way to deal with the Israeli. The Israelis, I can say the state of Israel, frankly speaking, is a state of rogue. It is above the law and they're not respecting any of the international resolutions. Even the available Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's despising the United States President Barack Obama. And if you refer, I can just refer back to the Jeffrey Goldberg, the Obama doctrine, when he speaks about the Netanyahu as a man who's not showing respect to the Obama administration, and that is the broker that can be able to deter and impose any of the international resolutions on the Israeli side. If that broker is not able to impose respect on the Israeli side, how come that do you imagine the United Nations that is showing a kind of inaction toward the whole region to imply any practical procedures on the ground to alleviate the siege?
Do you think this meeting could bring out any sort of reaction like that from the Israelis? How do you think they might react?
The Israelis are not going to respect that resolution. We have a good record. If you go back to the track record of the Israelis with the United Nations resolutions, they're not respecting any of them. The resolution is out to be implemented, and on the same time, they're annexing more land on the West Bank, and they're now shelling the Gaza Strip. They're still imposing the siege over the Gaza Strip. They're not respecting the international calls just to alleviate the siege. The humanitarian aid is not allowed to the Gaza Strip. So how come they're going to respect such a resolution?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your words there.
You're
That's
welcome.
Ahmed Alburai. Thank you.
You're welcome.